Hi everybody, welcome to the channel for this live session with this year World Champion. We have with us Team Poland. I have with me Lapamat and Icebreaker at the moment, and also Tutajek will be joining us. Hello guys.
Hello, hi.
Yeah, great pleasure tonight. As you can see, I just been recruited from Team Poland. I'm wearing their shirt, so they included me in their team for next year. No, joke aside, yeah, really happy to wear this shirt because yeah, I have a lot of friends in the team. I'm really enjoying I think you are really showing what is healthy competition at this ETC. You displayed that, and I think you're not the only team who have been making step forward in this direction. And I think it's a very good example to follow. And this makes the ETC more and more enjoyable. And really happy for you guys that you are back on top this year, because it has been a couple of years where you've been fighting for that, going back to the top, and now you've reached it. So maybe you can start with that, Lapamat.
Sure.
What's your feeling? What's your feeling after this win?
Yeah, first of all, it's important what you've mentioned, that a couple of previous years we were not as successful as we wanted to be. And it was also linked with fact that, as everybody knows, we had some big personal ones, like from year 2023. So we had to, it was like only, of course, Furion, but also Abrasus stopped playing, so two of our main hitters, and we had to like rediscover ourselves and learn a new way to win ETC as Team Poland with a new team and new players. And first of all, we wanted to build this new team with, as you said, good attitude towards the game, and just to prioritize the good sportsmanship and yeah, build like community of friendly players, and we are super happy about that. And it's like worth mentioning, I think from 2023 we didn't receive any penalty, and in years before every year we received multiple penalties. So for us, actually, this is our biggest success, and we are like super proud of that. And like it's also good that this approach finally ended with like a podium, and not only podium but first place, because previous 2 years we didn't even reach podium. And yeah, we're super happy about that. And it like was bringing some of the old players back, but also introducing new players like Dicebreaker into the team, who I think is like fulfilling the role of old Furion and old Abrasus, like as a big hitter for Polish team. And
Indeed, yeah.
yeah, so that's like my first thoughts about this. Maybe Dicebreaker can add something as like a debutee.
Yeah, going in, I knew the team is not weak for sure, but I was a bit stumbled with the recent. We cannot really call them successes, I guess, failures. So I was not sure what to expect. Either something similar to last year's, so like trying to reach the podium, or like the old glory, because the members of the team were really different from the ones in 23 and 24. So I was not really sure what to expect. But I think now, having discovered several other older players returning and other new players as really good members of the team, I cannot mention Gobos and Touch, who are great, and I think it's also their first ETC with Team Poland. So I think, yeah, the new discoveries were made, and they will for sure be used in the future.
Yes, and like it's also worth mentioning that this year and previous year we had a little bit similar approach before the tournament, because there was a lot of questions to be answered during the tournament. We had a lot of new players, and this year we also had some players who are coming back after a long break. So previous year we didn't know actually what to expect, and this year was similar. But this year it was like a pleasant surprise, and the previous year it was not so pleasant because yeah.
Yeah, indeed. I think also as an introduction, and then we will move to some topics I prepared. I also like to mention in the chat for the people following the live, guys, take this occasion to ask questions to Team Poland. I think it's really the target. If not, I would have done just a normal video, but I really wanted to also give the opportunity to the community to ask questions. I know that most of the views will be coming from replay, but for the people following it live, don't hesitate to ask questions. I think it's really the idea of tonight. I would also like to mention we have Tutajek joining us. Hello.
Hello.
Excellent. We can see you.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I think I've been able to following both you, Lapamat, and Dicebreaker. I think you both are a great example of also how to improve as a player yourself. I remember playing against you, Lapamat, a couple of years ago when you were for the first time with Team Poland. I think it has been a big ride, we can say, for you until being part of the selection team, captain, and then going to win. And also for you, Dicebreaker, coming from playing from other teams and then improving as a player until reaching the best spot in the ELO ranking and then joining the team until winning finally ETC. I think you are both example of how you can improve as a player and become then at some point world champion. And I think the base of your success has been a lot of training, but also a good attitude towards the game.
Yeah, thank you, but I agree and thank you very much. But in that category, maybe you don't know, but I think Tutajet is the best example of this attitude, because I don't know if you know that he was on ETC in Warhammer 8th edition. Tutajet, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know which year. Then he was on ETC in 9th age, and he did like really terrible results.
Really?
But
okay.
He was just, I don't know how many points you did. Maybe you don't want to admit, but like
44 or 42, something like that.
Okay. Yeah, you also massively improve until being a key part of Team Poland's success this year. So indeed, another good example of that. I think this should also give hope to the viewers who might think one day they will be joining an ETC team. They might be able to improve. I think your path of you three guys is a great example of that. And I just wanted to highlight that.
That's true. And also regarding that, I think it's worth mentioning that both our new players, Gobos and Toch, also were trying to get into the team in previous years. Gobos like 3 years in a row, and Toch last year. They didn't succeed in previous years, but they also didn't give up, and they were trying, and finally they got into the team, and they proved that it was a good choice, and I suspect that they will be a part of the team in the future. So I can only just agree with you that being steadfast in this hobby and just going forward, we'll give you success sooner or later.
This year, the best result for sure wasn't the record one. I mean, the top player even didn't have 100 points and had those players before, but the new players which is Gobos and Toch, they had 67 points. Toch has 67 points, and this is like massive. Like, I don't know.
For first ETC, it's great.
The best worst player. Was, I don't know, like 40 points, maybe 50, but 67 is like huge.
Actually, I can check, but I think there was never an ETC in Team Poland that the worst score was 60. I think every time the worst score was below 60.
Yeah.
And
it's quite impressive, indeed. And I wanted you mentioned new player. I wanted to talk about you maybe as a first topic. How was the captain selected in the team? I know that Lapamat, you are part also from this little group of selecting the team. And how did you do the team selection this year?
Captain or person who picks the team?
Both.
Captain didn't play big part because I was the captain, I think.
Tutajet was this year captain. I was captain the previous year, but actually in Team Poland the formal role of captain during ETC is like is like one of the last decisions that is made by us, like last week of June. but the selection is actually decided in like September, October, and
Okay.
this year it was actually a strange situation because last year myself, Tutaец, and Shino were the selectioners. This year the selectioner was Gobos, so one of the debutees. But myself and Tutaец helped him a lot with like the army list, picking the players. So we
Okay.
were like advisors, but he was making the final decisions. But I think we did a lot of like the meritorical work, myself and Tuta is
How did he end
about
up
picking.
being the person picking the team as a newcomer? That might surprise. That might be surprising for.
Actually,
You just, if you want to be, this is not like, it is honorable thing, but still it's like waste of a lot of time. And whatever person wants to be this person, this selectioner, he just says he wants to do it. We always have a vote,
Okay.
and selectioner can say anything he wants. I would say I will take
yeah,
top 10 players on new recruit, and this
Yeah.
is his idea. And
Mhm.
yeah,
if he has a votes, that's fine. The votes are the people in Poland who are organizing the tournaments, basically.
Okay.
yes, and it's also I think worth mentioning that after last year's ETC, like we were a bit tired and frustrated that a lot of work, a really lot of work that were put into the process last year didn't like
Yeah.
bear fruit. So this year, like he was actually the only person who was willing to,
Okay.
take the initiative and to organize it. And he was also coached multiple times in the previous year's ETC. He was helping the team. He was involved with the team, and so yeah, we thought that he will be a good choice for picking the team because he served his part as a help of the team. So like as a reward or our way
Okay.
of saying
Yeah.
thank you,
This makes sense. Indeed.
we supported him. Yes.
So the final team was already selected. You said in like September, October.
No.
Only the selectioner.
Ah. Okay.
The
Okay. And then team selection. When did it happen? And how? Maybe did you do it like step by step, like choosing like 4 people, then one and one, stuff like that?
Yeah.
This year it was faster. We basically, I will not say that we have like 20 people to choose off. We had like, I don't know, 13,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe even less. The problem was that this is not close to Poland, and it costs money. The new edition took a lot of people away to play that hard. We knew that new edition brings a lot of weird stuff to it, like different, very weird lists can happen, and if we doesn't find them out soon enough, we're just gonna be punished by it, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So few people we even asked to if they want to go to ETC,
Yeah.
and we just knew that they are good players in macro part, I would say, of the game. For example, Laik, who was playing for 2 games last year, because I was attending my brother's wedding on Saturday, and he had to be a coach, so he could step for me to play,
Mm-hmm.
and he didn't lose any of those 2 games. So, and he I don't know, he played like maybe 5 games.
Yeah.
Prepare for this tournament, and it was enough. And for me,
Okay.
the only part we need to do is to just give him good list, and I try to cover it for like a few months. This is the list I played against you on this tournament.
Yeah, and regard the picking the personal choices, I think it was like 6 people were like it was sure that they will go like right from the October, I think, and the last 2 spots. Yeah, we were discussing about it, but the decision was, I think, February, March. Like at the end of March, the whole team was selected, or no, sorry, maybe like April this year. But because there were some rivalries, like Ever wanted to go to the team, but then he said to us that he will not try to make it to the team because he has some a lot of work and like finishing his house and stuff, and that he just wants to coach.
Yeah.
So this helped like making the personal choices. But I think like 6 people were sure from the start, and the last 2 spots there was some rivalry, but it was resolved like March, April, something like that.
Okay. Yeah, I think
The
it's
issue
part
of
of every team selection is to pick the final spot is always a bit tricky, and there are always going to be people a bit disappointed.
change. As long as you don't have this kind of team picking like Spain or France, when you just pick the team and the team who wants who wins one tournament just goes. It's very simple.
Yeah.
Even thought about it, but we didn't want to do it this year.
Did you do in the past some qualification in Poland?
No.
No.
Like it was in like 15 years or 20 years ago. The idea was that top 3 of the league, the Polish league, picks the rest 5 of the people. But if, for example, if 2 people were from the same club, they would just pick like whole team.
Yeah.
And this happened before. So then after a while we changed the idea that there's just 1 person or 2 people or 3, doesn't matter. I mean, it should be 2 people not from the same area. So like someone from Warsaw, for example, and someone from South. This is like the top 2 biggest areas of players, and they choose the whole team. And that would be nice if they would not go to do the same thing next year. So it would be a good idea it was meant to change every year.
Okay.
For people.
I see. Next, guys, I would like to hear some numbers. I'm very intrigued to hear. Maybe the icebreaker, you can bring us your example. How many games did you play, like since beginning of the year? Just the money time, like July. I know you're playing a lot online. Did you play a lot? Did you do boot camps? I would be intrigued to know how many games you played, because I know about my number of games, but I would be really intrigued to compare with your numbers and to see how much you train for ETC.
So we can start with simple things. Unfortunately, I missed the boot camps. They
Okay.
happen that I missed them. Anyways, in 2025 alone, I played 56 tournament games, about 20 more games, like not tournaments, in your record, and 45 more games in 2024.
Okay.
It was an old patch, so I don't think it matters that much.
Yeah.
From 2025, from the March patch, it's 56 games.
Yeah.
I do the statistic, and I think about 15 games with the ETC list, because I didn't spoil it before the ETC. I only played it on 1 tournament where the lists were hidden.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I played with a really similar list. With Warriors, I pretty much did not change it.
And like July, for example, do you know more or less how many games you played only in July, like testing against ETC list?
11.
Okay.
Not that much.
Yeah.
I played a lot before, and I played a lot against myself.
Yeah.
Just deployments on Warhol against the ETC lists, but not that much in July.
Okay, interesting. And you, Laparat?
Actually, like, if we count games against myself,
yeah,
then a lot. But because actually, I think I played against myself with like most of the list from top teams, like 2, 3, 4 turns just to see how it looks on the table. But if we are counting only like normal games against opponents, I think also not that much. With my list, I played like maybe 15, 20 games in July, but I also played a lot with against like our other players using the list from other countries. Like I think I played with Toch a lot, with Gobos, and so I was like a sparring partner for them.
Okay.
But like 15-20 games, which is maybe a lot, maybe not a lot, but it's, I think, also worth mentioning that it's funny that this year we played significantly less
Fewer.
less amount of games than last year, and last year we took 5th place,
Yeah.
and I think it was like maybe a burnout, maybe like too much of the preparations and too much pressure was put. This year we were a little bit, more YOLO in our approach, and
it worked. Yeah.
it worked.
Maybe it's the path to follow for the future as well.
Yeah.
To touch, do you also have some numbers for us, more or less?
The biggest amount I played right after the patch came out, so it was like February.
Yeah.
That was the final rules, and this is like when I started playing the most with dwarves, and also almost finishing the list for Sylvanels.
Yeah.
But for sure the number was getting lower and lower. Basically, I didn't even play against Chaos.
Yeah.
I mean, against Warriors with my dwarf list, and the first game I played on ATC and I lost 15-5. So it's quite weird to not play the top army.
Yeah, I feel sorry for dodging the tides for a solid 10 times.
No,
It's offered me to play.
It went well, so no worries. One game was enough to know that it is not good. This is not a good idea. But still, as almost like Wapomat, I was like trying to play. For example, Crusader, who joined the team very, I don't know, it's like April or something, because he didn't know he can go.
Yeah.
So I wanted him to at least play once against each army.
Yeah.
And when he like played almost against everything, we gave him 2 Gortax to on the ATC. So it was like it was easy to play only with blocks. Now I give you 2 single models with frenzy.
Need to change the style.
Try to adapt,
Yeah.
but do it fast because we need to go. So I knew that like in August that this year will be crazy because new edition and patches which won't be like super not meaningful. Like if you change the point cutoff of academies by 5 points, maybe it is important, but doesn't change the whole book to be playable. But if you give strength 4 to Sylvan Elves, it is meaningful.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah. This year it wasn't about preparation itself. It was about finding a good
list. Yeah, I think it was
for players. This is how I would say.
Yeah, we saw that in some of the lists that there are some things to exploit in the books.
I mean, for example, when people took lists from Matfi, I mean, maybe not least, but this whole concept of dragon, etc. I think it was very useful because it is very easy to play against the army,
Yeah.
So stuff like that, I think helps.
Yeah, it's crazy, Dicebreaker. You basically brought the dragon to instant classic in almost every team's list this year, and then some of the meta were really totally adapt to fight against the dragon. Like all the team had like alchemy and stuff. It was kind of crazy. You influenced.
To be honest, I'm not sure there's something like else, like a bandwagon going on, because I've looked at other builds a lot on the disc, on the Chimera, and I'm not completely sure that the dragon is ultimately OP and it needs to be in every team and every list, because it's quite easy to counter it, and I think we saw it on ETC with the meta, with the cannons, with a lot of alchemy, a lot of evocation. So I'm not sure. I have not really checked the stats, but I think it's interesting to look on the stats on ETC and how the dragon and warriors performed, because some lists, like the Spanish list, it was really great, and it didn't have a dragon, and I think, and the German list as well. And
we didn't bring the dragon as well. We had the full Forsworn list.
Oh right, and you had the Doomlord unit. So I'm actually interested if the dragon in the end was such a great pick, or there were some other alternatives that fit better in the meta. For me, such alternative was the Shrine.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people just anticipated the dragon to be OP and everywhere, and that's why they really focused on that. It was like an obsession. We need to be able to counter Italy, for example.
Yeah, but if you counter the dragon, you can also counter some other stuff like
Yeah,
Sphinx.
yeah, true.
Uh,
Indeed.
I don't know. And Bretonia, I think as well.
Yeah.
So, like,
You mentioned before boot camps. How many boot camps did you do? Maybe this year, for example. How often? How many people did participate?
we didn't make boot camps like complete other event. We just asked our master, big tournament organizer, if you can play on Friday before tournament, and we ask people around Poland who wants to go there like on Friday, not at 8 p.m. but like 9 a.m. and we just tried to play games before the tournament.
Okay. Interesting.
And we made just one boot camp after the list release. That was basically.
So yeah, only one boot camp like as a separate event.
Yeah.
It was in July, just practicing the ATC list, and before, as today said, just one additional day. We play with Team Poland on Friday when there was a big Polish tournament on weekends.
Okay.
So
yeah, interesting idea.
not a lot. Actually, previous year, of course, we had like 4 boot camps. Yeah. We were super prepared, and yeah.
I know what you're talking about. We have the same issue in Switzerland because this year, you know, I received from Team France a lot of friends who were playing ESC, training a lot just before ETC, and I received at the same time pictures from my teammates. They were doing like wine tasting and all the road trip, all possible stuff other than playing, you know. And actually we had good success with that, so I was afraid that this year will be even worse. We will see.
Yeah.
Yeah. But sometimes it helps. Yeah.
Burnout is real.
Yeah. And relaxing is important. That's what we learned this year.
Yeah.
And did you do scrimmage, online scrimmage? I'm a bit shared about that. I must say we played a lot of them. So like 8 against 8. We played a lot against other teams last year. We did only like 1 or 2 this year, a bit less.
We did only 1.
Yeah.
But against France, but in the end we played against each other on the tournament event.
Indeed, yeah. Yeah, we had a lot of online tournaments.
I don't know if like we played 3 or 4 games maybe.
Yeah.
At the end, but played on so we didn't. I mean.
Yeah, we had a lot of competition between the top countries, so to say, in the online event. That was quite enjoyable. I felt it was almost too much. I must say, at some point I had like 4 parallel events. I didn't know how to fit the game. I almost had to take some vacation to play on afternoon, but it was cool. I think as a training possibility, it was quite cool and flexible.
Yeah, but online tournaments, yeah, we played like I played almost everyone, each of them, but not all, like Arthur, who played Orcs, and like play Wolves, they don't play online at all.
Yeah.
So that's why I play a lot, because when I have kids, I cannot waste time to just go somewhere to play one game, and it takes like 5 hours. I prefer to do it in 2 hours in my home when they go to sleep.
Yeah, so, I noticed that you played really fast. I was surprised of that. Especially when you're attacking, it's surprising that somebody attacking plays that fast.
Yeah, it only happens when I play Wolves. When I played Dwarves, it wasn't so bad.
Okay, I would like to move to the next topic, which is thoughts regarding lists. So basically we had a bit of fun because I made some bad comment about Polish list before the event, but I also said that it was going to be funny because the only one who are right are going to one who win the event, and you did win the event. But I would like to know what was basically your perception once you saw the list of the top countries and comparing with your list, which were completely off meta, a bit different, some of them. Like we mentioned yours, Lapamat, I didn't believe it could work, and it did work really well, so we were surprised. But I would like to know were you a bit concerned at some point, or were you very confident that you just found some very good solution? What was the feeling?
I think my first impression was like a relief that there were no major surprises for
Yeah.
us. And we actually anticipated. We knew what was meta and what will be in the teams. We were, of course, the Italian lists are also always a big surprise. So we're the most concerned about them, like that, because of course it's new edition. Maybe they found some broken thing in the books and that nobody knows about. But when we saw the list, we were actually relieved, and we actually we knew what to expect. It's I think that the Team France had the best list against us,
Yeah.
and but regarding our list, I think maybe it's like an impression that we like were like super masterminds and we knew how to counter what was popular in the meta. But actually, some of our lists we just made them despite the meta and fit them into the individual player playstyle. So it was like more important to us to that the player plays the list that he likes and that is his playstyle. For example, Xargos, our orc player, always liked monsters, always liked to push hard. We knew that the goblin were meta, the full goblin lists were meta, then they were very good.
Yeah.
But it was more important to us that he plays his own like aggressive monster playstyle, and we did that like with actually a lot of our players, and this was most important to us. That first thing that the player feels comfortable with his list, and we listen to the player, and we don't want to like push the list into players' hands. Because we knew like the Vermis warriors were super good, but actually no player really wanted to
play them.
take the responsibility of making reroll and trying to do the to play with vermin swarm. So our process of making lists was like a bit a mix of our we were trying to make the best list with
Except to me and you.
keeping in mind what are the players preferences.
Yep.
And yeah, and actually, when the lists were out, we were I was relieved. Maybe then when I start looking at the Spanish list, I was a little bit worried about the Spanish list because they were also very out of meta. They were very different than all the other lists, and personally, that is what scares me the most. When I like see the copy of Matfi's list with Dragon, I'm like, okay, we know this list, we know how to play it. When we see Mono Goblins, when we see that spam teleportation, because I played also Vermin Swarm spam teleportation beginning of the year, I was like, okay,
You know what to expect.
we know how this works, we know how to handle it. The most like scary lists are the lists that are really homemade. I think that this is actually the key to success, is not copying lists from other players, but making your own list that fits your own playstyle. And I think we made exactly that. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. You said to chat that not you and Lapamat, so were those two lists made differently?
We rolled to completely, I mean, for me, completely different army, because I'm playing Kudos for like 20 plus years. And I swapped for the wars, as it was just a bit random decision to pick an army which is not heavily played in Poland. The only army I didn't play much, except previous year when we prepared for ATC. I played a few games with MSU, kind of this, and it was quite funny to play. So I knew it is at least that, at least the same level as it was last year on the previous edition. I'm sure it was better because of the new rules. But this year also it's like it was pretty obvious that we need to do some rerolls, and we didn't want to players like Xargos to force him to play Skavens or play online to play something else and then not Buddhas.
And I think it's also important in our approach that we know that we have good players, and for us it's most important not to try to force the most OP lists and then push it into the best pairings, but to give our good players just a toolbox with a lot of a lot of tools to deal with different armies, and we are confident that just they are better than
Yeah,
their
you can
opponents. So
outplay
if
the
we
opponent.
pair like Sargos, who is like universalist against his opponent, and it's not like he has big advantage on the list, but his list is made to play with almost everything,
Okay.
and not from the big advantage, but also not from a big disadvantage. And we are confident that like we have good players, and when they're playing the match where the skill is most important, that they will win. And that was also our approach to
Okay.
For us, it
make
was
this.
very important to not lose big. We want to have a players who are pretty confident how they play, and we had the worst score was 3 points against Scrap. Crusader got 3 points. Second worst score was my against Chaos. It was 5, and then it was like 4, maybe two games ended 4-16, but all the games were like around 10.
Okay.
So, it was very important for us to not get any 20-0s.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a big
in
gap. Then it's hard to
we also
compensate.
didn't
Yeah.
make any. I don't know. It's like maybe Cruz made one against Italians. Matfi, you did one 20-0.
Against Austrians.
Yeah, and Doubles made one, and that's all. It was like
I also, but
okay.
against Austria.
We had against Beast. We had like maybe 4 20-0 wins.
Yeah.
But more important was to not get any.
Okay, interesting. I see a question in the chat who is also a bit complementary to what you said. There is Paul asking if you are like choosing some list to be like tanking at the beginning of the pairing, or you more pick list that the people would be feeling comfortable to play in the single. I would say it's more the second part, right? You're more like picking lists.
Not,
the people
not
are
the list.
Yeah.
It's more about players.
Yeah.
But it's actually a mix, because we also, well, we know that some of the players we are comfortable for them to be defender. We also give them lists that are more universal. Like,
Yeah.
and I think we had some of the players that we were confident that they can play in bad matchups because they have strong mentality and they are assertive on the table, and they will not. They will play their own game despite the pairing, and to these players we give this type of list. They are quite universal. Like our high elf list, I think, was made in a way that it's very universal, can play bad pairings,
Yeah.
and it also fit our player who is like that.
Okay, interesting. Okay, just before going to the part where we go through each round and see a little bit how you perform and what were also your thought process during the day, you just mentioned before like a bit of a burnout from last year, all the workload and so on. So this year, did you have the target in mind, like we can win it, we go for the win, or was it more like we're going to enjoy, and if we reach the podium, it's great? What was the mindset before the event?
The mindset was not to lose against money.
Obviously.
Have fun. I mean, the new edition always brings out of various stuff that like people might not know or know the rules. So it for us it was like pretty open. Our preparation ended when we basically make the lists, and that was let's say if someone brings, I don't know, if everyone has Skaven's Chaos, etc. If people will have like, if we missed something that everyone will take the top like 8 armies, and we don't know which top 8 armies are, then okay, that's it. I mean, we cannot proceed. We just knew that some armies are worse, and maybe not worse. We don't have some of the armies are not played in Poland. Like we don't have Autoskaven players, we don't have Imperium players, and dwarf players as well, but we could cover it by like me and Wapa could switch.
Yeah.
We could waste some time on to prepare to play something else, but we didn't want to like make okay, those are 8 armies, we just do it. Everyone needs to take those armies. We can randomize, and someone will take them, one of us, and that's it. But this is not the idea how to. I think this is not the idea how to approach the game, even if it is ATC. So it was.
But once you saw the list, did you expect? Did you think we can win it? We have like a good meta. We feel great. We can really win it, or is it something that you didn't expect?
For me, it was after round 4. I mean, because the first 3 rounds we had like easier countries to play against, but against Germany and against in the middle of the French game, I knew it's just like it's going much better than I expected.
Okay.
And regarding your question, I think it's also a long topic, because in Team Poland we have like a tradition that is very good team, and there is a big pressure also from the community to win it.
Mhm.
And every year, in previous years, like my first ETC was 2019, and I always remember like from the time I started the big like pressure that we have to win, and second, third place is a it's
not
a
enough.
disappointment.
Yeah.
Yes, and it also resulted in like sometimes even forced attitude that we have to win, and we say to ourselves that we will win despite we believe it or no. And this year actually we were I think very, very cool,
Okay.
and we were not putting a bit like a lot of pressure on ourselves. Actually we were even not talking between ourselves that we have to win, or we will win it, or we are the favorites of the tournament. We were just that we think we have good team.
Yep.
And we think we have good lists, and we just go to have fun, and we will see what happens basically. So this year I would say that our attitude before the tournament was like the coolest.
Nice. And it worked.
As
Yeah.
member, yeah. I don't know how much because he's a debutee.
Yeah, I was going
don't know.
to ask him what was your personal feeling, because you had great success all year long in online tournament, climbing up the ranking. Were you expecting like we can win it? I'm sure we can do it. What was your mindset?
I was constantly asking the more experienced players,
Yeah.
Again, Wap and Tutajac, and they basically communicated the same thing to me. We have a good team, we have good lists, and the goal is not to win. The goal is to play your game and play
Excellent.
good, show it again. So I was not having a clear goal to win.
Yeah.
I wanted to have more than 60 points. This was like number 1 goal,
Yeah.
and then more than 70 points, more than 80 points, and my target was 90, which is quite funny because I got 90 on the point. So I guess.
Excellent. Yeah, that's amazing first ETC for you with Team Poland.
Yes.
Did you feel the pressure before the start of the event to play with Poland?
No, but round 4 and 6 were crazy. The one against Italy, it was during the pairings, the pressure was really, really high.
Okay, you saw the pressure climbing.
I can tell you a funny anecdote, because I was in the room with Dicebreaker in the hotel.
Yeah.
And before the first day, we were going to sleep, and I woke up, I think, in the middle of the night to go to toilet, and I went back to my bed, and I thought he was sleeping, but he says to me like, I think I can play with the Belgian warriors or with the Belgian dwarfs.
Yeah.
And I was like, come on, man, go to sleep.
Yeah.
But he thinks, well, I'm thinking about pairings and stuff, blah, 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 blah. And so I think that maybe there was not pressure put on the Icebreaker from our part,
But from himself. Yeah.
He put him on himself, but yeah.
Okay, funny.
He didn't crumble, under this pressure.
No,
and
definitely.
This is most important.
But I don't know what you feel, guys, but I thought, personally for me, the short period of time where we had more or less big international event online, playing against also top opponent, I felt it was still a very good training on the pressure you can have in top round like etc. For me, at least I felt that was helpful during this year, like getting some top opposition with still a bit of pressure, like we want to win and do well, put us in good testing condition compared to etc.
Yeah. And actually, that's the exact thing that I was talking with Gobos about before the tournament, because Gobos was also a debutee, and he had like extra pressure on himself because, as we told you, he was like the selectioner of the team, and he picked himself.
Yeah.
So there were some voices in the community saying that if you will not do well, then it's like a you know it's a shame, yeah, that he picked
Indeed.
himself
Yeah.
and he
Yeah.
didn't do well. So it was super big pressure on him, and like when he was trying to calm himself down, he was also always saying to himself that, "Come on, you played a lot of international
Yeah.
tournaments, you did good results, and it was for him. I know that this was a really big help, yeah."
Yeah, I get that. Okay, guys, so I put now on the screen we have your results round by round. So I would like to go through those 6 rounds with you, and just if you have some anecdote like the mindset, how you feel after the round, would be very interesting, because we knew what you did. We have the result, and we know that from new recruit. But would be really happy also to see to hear a bit more about your personal experience and how you lived that. So the first round, you got maybe the trickiest pairing from the top team, or from the favorite, we could say, against Belgium, who is a strong team, have some good players, and were definitely tricky as first opponent. How did you think about the matchup and your preparation?
We were actually happy to play Belgium because, as you told, we also considered them to be a solid team. I think, like we can I don't know, maybe I will offend somebody, but I think that the best teams on ETC, and at least how we look at it, it's of course Spain, Italy, Germany, France, Switzerland. For us, this is the best teams, and we considered the Belgium to be like on the spot number 6 in case of strengths. And actually, so we were happy that because it was like a good, I don't want to say warm up, but we knew that they will be tough and they will put some resistance to us. And actually we were really hoping to cap, and we were saying to ourselves that if we cap, then it's like a proof that it's a good start of the tournament, and it's a proof that we have a very solid and good team. So we were not like nervous before this round, because we knew that we would win. It was just a question if we will cap. Maybe we will just be a little bit above tie. And the result 90-70 was actually not. It was less than we hoped for, and we were. At the beginning, we were a little bit disappointed because all of the other good teams capped, but later when we saw the exact pairings for the later rounds, we knew that it could actually be into our advantage, because we can play with Austria round number 2, then with Colombia round number 3, and to build ourselves, like capping the teams that were not favorites. And I think this on the tournament like ETC, this is super important to get like a momentum of a team that you cap, and you feel especially in a year like this, when we have 3 debutees that were super nervous, that wanted to feel the tables, feel how the games are going. And it's also in Team Poland, because of our community, because of our history, we have a little I think a relatively big pressure on the players, also about their individual scores. So a lot of players were like afraid that they might not do so well, and because we had like 3, I don't want to say easy, but not as hard rounds as we could have had. all of these players, made a lot of points, were feeling very calm at the round number 4. That was Germany, so one of the, top contenders.
Yeah.
And it was also super important. Yeah, maybe I'm jumping too far ahead.
No,
Sorry
it's
for that,
fine.
but
Yeah, I wanted to share also. I think most of the people in the French community, being France, Belgium, also Switzerland, we have a similar point of view regarding the favorite for ATC. I think that's no disrespect towards the other team, but we are feeling indeed that between Poland, ourselves, Italy, Germany, Spain, France, that's a little bit the group of the top contender, and that's also, if you look at this year ranking, the top 6. So that's no big surprise, and most of the time that's the team ending up on the podium. So I think also the track record show that this kind of team are the one challenging for the podium at least. Then we have some favorite for the win. It's also another step, like ourselves or France didn't win it yet, so I think it's another step to make. So I would also maybe make a little distinction between the teams that won it in the past year and maybe ourselves and France. But yeah, I think coming back to your result, indeed we can, I think, divide your ETC in 2 halves. We have the first half, indeed, without being disrespectful, but maybe not against the top contender. You build some momentum, you reach round 4, and then you have the key, I think, first key moment against Germany. Can you maybe walk us through how did the pairing go? How did that go? Was surely a key moment for you, and were you happy also about the result?
Sure. And also regarding the pairings, it's also worth mentioning that because myself and Tutais were doing most of the pairings.
Yeah.
And for us, it was also super important to give the debutees, the new players, the good matches in the easier rounds
Okay.
to build themselves. And yeah, when we reached round 4, actually we were feeling very good because of that momentum that we felt that we had. We also knew that Germany was, also like starting to snowball after, I think, beating. I know that they beat Spain. They won. I don't know. And they played Portugal. Yeah, game number 3, I think. And yeah, they were also like snowballing and getting momentum.
You were
So
first and they were second. Yeah.
Yeah. So we knew that they are also like going for the top. But actually, I don't really want to get into too much details because I think we are super happy with our pairing tactics. But I can say that we were happy with the pairings against Germany. We had like a plan.
Yeah, I think like every nation facing Germany, when you're facing them, they obviously have 2 top players, Scrub and Furion. So during the pairing, you have to have a strategy against them, because if they get you, they're going to get big points. So surely you have some expectation and you have some plan to try to block them as much as you can.
Yeah, exactly. It's worked partially because Gobos did 9-11 against Furion with Dark Elves. I think it's amazing result. Against Scrub, not so well because Crusader lost with Scrub. But we knew it's like a matchup that can go either way.
Yeah.
And actually, this game for me was the after pairings we were feeling good. During games, I was nervous because my game it went worse than expected, and I played near Touch, who played against their warrior list, so our high elves against the warriors. It was also tie-ish, and yeah, I would say that the game was nervous. I want to give a big shout out to my opponent because Blackie played super friendly, super clean, but the game was pretty nervous, I would say. But when when the last game was starting to being counted, the result, there was like a moment when we thought that we lose the match.
Okay.
But actually, it turned out that we won like
84.
84.
Yeah.
84, yeah. So this was big relief. It was like not as good as like we wanted, but yeah, it was big relief because as Tutaj said, I think this was for us the most important, not to lose against Germany. Not that we have anything. Some players, maybe it's like a little bit of grudge match
Yeah, sure.
between us and Furion, and yeah, but yeah, we were super relieved. It was not like we won the tournament, but it was like goal one is
Achieved.
yeah
Okay.
is
We have
achieved.
we have somebody wanted to know in the chat about the match between the Dread Elf and Furon. You just mentioned before I think it's a complicated matchup for Dread Elf. What was your expectation for this matchup? And you mentioned also that
it wasn't important what will be the outcome of this game. We just wanted to not get 20.
Okay. Because I think it's mentioned also in the chat that they played it right during the year. You already had this Dread Elf against Ibon Elf. Okay.
They played like he was playing Dragon and 2 Hydras,
Yeah.
so it was
different list.
was
Okay.
completely different game, and they had the very beginning of the game was pretty disturbing because they made illegal move during the game, which was what was quite important to get one magic face Hydra, and it was like pretty nervous. But the whole point of this round was to do proper. I don't know if Wapa said it, but it was all about proper pairings.
Yeah.
And the pairings finished in first drop basically.
Okay.
Yeah, but I can also just add that exactly as Tutaj said, that maybe on the list, when you look it from the perspective of lists, the High Elves against Red Elves, it was a good match for High Elves.
Yeah.
But for us, the most important thing was that our Dark Elf player really wanted to play against Furion because he wanted to revenge his game like from Polish tournament. Because he think he got cheated and he wanted to
make things right.
Revenge.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's also, I think, important in this kind of matches because a lot of players can get scared of Furion.
Yeah.
And it's super important that our guy is not only not scared, but he wants to play against him and he's willing to to try to wrestle with this guy.
Yeah.
But how? So for us, it was a big success that we made this pairing.
Yeah, I think it's pretty interesting what you're saying, and also due to the history between Furion and yourself, how did you manage to make this game like going to be competitive, but still, I mean, that it works without any trouble for both teams? Because like you said before, your goal was also to make games enjoyable and no big problem, no penalty and stuff like that. How did you manage? Did you put a coach? Did you had also some preparation for the player? I think it's also quite interesting.
You mean against Furion or against Team Germany? Because against Team Germany, we didn't have to do anything. It was all games were fine. I think so. Against Furion, I think he didn't learn this edition well yet, and I don't know. I heard the game was pretty peaceful. There was quite a few funny stuff like. Gobos got chaffed with Phoenix and had 2 units in the front, as Furion wanted them to be in the front. Then Gobos said, "Okay, I charge with both," and I push my altar unit more to the side. Then it appeared during the chaff phase, I would say, and he said, "Now I can overrun into your lions, even though you try to chaff me." And then he said, "Okay, so this is flank," and Shino said, "But you said it is front." And the last attempt from Fino was like, "Okay, you can choose."
Okay. But the game was peaceful, and our strategy was like you said, that one of our coaches, I would say like the more assertive one, not to downplay Shino. Of course, Shino we love Shino, he's amazing, but one of 2 coaches, you can guess who, was just at their table during whole game, and he was, the tactic was just for him to watch the game, and if anything happens, just call the judge and stop any disagreements, from getting out of control and to resolve them immediately.
Yeah, I think it's important, and it's also something I think interesting for the viewers who don't know much about ETC to know that sometimes you have complicated game. It's not happening often at all. It's a minority of the games really at ETC level. But you also need to be able to manage that and mostly not lose your control and not be angry and stuff like that, because then you start to make mistake, and it's really not the goal also. So it's interesting to hear how you manage that. We have then end of day 2, so we are at the evening. You just won against Germany. You know you're going to be paired against France. You said before you found the French list to be kind of difficult for you. What's the mindset? Saturday evening, what's the mindset?
So it was quite cool that we had whole evening to talk about it, because we could review the list, we could review the scenario, review the deployment, and then we made few, maybe more than few, but we did some changes about the pairings, and I think some of them even happened. Like I said to like that, you don't have to be scared of pyromancy that much if you just play offensive enough. Like I play against you, or I remember goblins, the whole magic.
He played the Hiles.
Yeah, I know, but he played, and I said this is
It's similar.
more scary than goblins, because the army works different way. But still, this is the matchup you can play. Even you can play it very well if you start the game, but I think he didn't. But this is the kind of matchup we fixed after consultations about the scenario
and there are also some matchups. I think there was one French list that we have most trouble with. I think they're demons. I think we had like 6 negative matchups. So you know, when we face this kind of situation, we just are changing the whole matrix. Not because if 6 people have a red matchup, it's like it doesn't give any information to the people making pairings. So we just change it in a way that who is the player that we want this list to play against, and actually like from these 6 people we knew that our high elves like have the best worst pairing, and that's exactly what we got from the pairing. So I think we tweaked our matrix quite a lot during this evening, so it was super helpful that we had this time, because the French lists were really tricky for us, really tricky.
Were you also nervous to the fact that I think last year the French did beat you, and they got this year Coco Freeze also coming from Switzerland to France, being definitely a strong addition?
We won with them 81, I think, but 2 years in a row, 2 previous years, that's true that we lost to them. Actually, we were not scared with Coco Freeze, I think. This was not the case, because we also played French guys on online, we pick up their 2 teams. We were feeling regarding the past, it was actually not important to us, because we also have a very different team than last year. We had some of the old players. So actually the thing that was just one thing that was worrying us was the list. The French list, this was a problem. We had a problem with our Beast Hertz, because he also had no good pairings against France, and we wanted we were trying to like put him somewhere where he will not lose a lot. And but actually after the tournament we sent our matrix to Team France. They sent us our matrix, and we won, because some of the matches we judged that they are good for us, and they also thought that they were good for them. And these matches were the deciding matches. So like our Dark Elves against their warriors, and that's why we win against them. So actually after the pairings we were quite happy, and I know that after the pairings the French team was also very happy, because I think they told us that they have no negative match, and so So after the pairings, we knew that it will be cage.
Somebody is going to be wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, huge win, and then we reach the lunchtime. We know it's going to be a final against Italy. Italy, they had an amazing ETC. I mean, they played all the contenders. It's amazing, their ETC. We were feeling like, wow, they are second after playing so many contenders. They played really everybody. They beat us. They played the French, the German, the Spain, all of them. And then they reached the final. What was your point of view at this moment? You're feeling like, wow, Italy is so strong, it's going to be really hard? Or you were more like confident, like we beat heavily France, almost capped them. We are thinking we are on the right path. We just beat Germany and France. It's going to work. What was the mindset?
I mean, we didn't think about this year. I think we thought more about previous years when we lost to them, but we don't lose like them, like 85 to 75. We got capped twice in a row.
Yeah, okay.
By not a bit. We just got capped where everyone could say, whenever who said I won this game, it didn't matter. Like 3 people more needed to win to at least have a like okay drawish result.
Yeah.
It was like the worst. So the only thing we were happy about that the release weren't so scary.
Yeah.
The scariest were Hydras. We had 2 players who were for sure good against them, and one which we didn't know, and it was me.
Mm-hmm.
Even my game didn't matter. I mean, we just like turned the page like completely over. Like we from losing a lot, we just won almost maximum we wanted. So I think the pairing process was very good, and this scenario was maybe not fair because we had advantage of points, and playing Spoils of War. I mean, this scenario just is not correct for this kind of tournament when like 7 people just can stay in corner and
yeah,
you can just
I felt also strange.
one pairing.
Yeah. I share your view. I think when we had the similar situation because we played France in the last round and we also had point advantage. So then you think, okay, they have to take risk, and it's kind of risky to try to really be very aggressive on Spoil of War.
Because we played Breakthrough and the
last year, I mean, from the what?
Against France, we played.
You played Breakthrough against France, and then Spoil of War was the last one. Yeah.
And we didn't think about like we just focus on the pairings, and someone had -2 out of when possible -4. We knew this is good bet, not because of the scenario, but because of this is just a bad pairing.
Mm-hmm.
The Spoils of War just flatten out all the line that if someone was winning big, it doesn't. Just player just can stay in the corner and you're not able to win big. You're not sure you're gonna win or lose the scenario. But the point advantage didn't matter much until the last game, I think.
But like from my perspective, I may add that that's true that we have trauma from last years with Team Italy, but actually when we was just after round 5, we saw that we have point advantage over them. It was like for me, and I think for the team, we were not nervous. We were actually feeling quite calm because in these 2 years that we lose to Italy maximum, like cup 2 times, they have big point advantage, and we were really trying like too hard to push.
You took too many risks.
Process. So actually, we had a feeling that we will give them the taste of their own medicine. So because they had to push to win. I think I don't remember exactly, but I think like 77 lose for us will be still enough for the win. So but actually the most important thing were the pairings. Like after the pairings, we were almost sure that we won the ATC, and also our beast hearts against their ogres got 20 very, very fast.
Oh,
Like
yeah, that's nice.
super fast. We
Yeah.
knew that it's so it also gave the whole team like we were playing super calm. We knew it's
I
going
was
well, and yeah, the round was very pleasant for us.
I wasn't calm at all.
Me neither.
Yeah,
Not
only
at
he
all.
had like a emotional game.
What about you,
No,
Dicebreaker? How did you feel? Like, I mean, final game, playing for the win with the Poland.
it was for sure stressful,
Yeah.
and I finished quite quickly because my game was against Sylvan Elves on Spoils of War. He deployed in the corner, and long story short, he rolled good for his shooting. I rolled bad for my magic, and at a certain point, I could either go for it or just teleport and hide in the corner. And I was really stressed at that point, and I chose to do the latter. So I lost 8-12,
Mm-hmm.
and I finished. I think I finished first after Like, who had set the 13.
Yeah.
And it was really stressful because it was supposed to be a good matchup,
Mm-hmm.
which I lost. And I was not sure if I took the right decision to hide. And Tobias was really busy with his game, and it really didn't look as if we are winning. I thought that Arthur, the Orcs player, will lose a lot.
Yeah.
And I thought that the High Elf player will also lose a lot. So after finishing my game, I just actually went out of the venue on the street and maybe for half an hour just breathed and walked around because it was too stressful to watch the games.
Okay, crazy. Yeah, then you had the roller coaster of emotion, we can say. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and this is like the issue. Just when we play against Germany, and I made like 14-6 very fast because we played 2 points, and I had very easy secondary objective. I had the time to like do coach time for almost everyone or for everyone. Our 2 coaches, I mean, Shino didn't play like almost any game in whole year. Like maybe play 5 or 6 games before, so it was a bit better to do coach time with me. Maybe not much, but it's still counted twice. I would say twice. And for this match, I had almost no time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I could just say to Matfi just to don't do stupid stuff like going crazy to win 1 or 2 big points.
Yeah.
It's like it's not worth it.
Yeah, I think sometimes you have to put your ego aside and play for the team and play safe rather than take risk to make some extra point for yourself. Sometimes it's part of the game. Yeah.
Very often people like think they can do some risky stuff and win out of points, but often it's like they just give up out of points to gain the same. It doesn't matter in the outcome of the game because on the high level people are not losing the scenario, or they are not trying to give up the scenario very easily. So, and if someone wants to do like super crazy stuff, to like say, like, if he fails, it's like rerollable 9 leadership break test, I will win this game 20-0. It's like no one is doing this stuff.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah.
I mean, maybe someone does, but I don't recommend it. But your game, like this is like I think what Furan says. Like after deployment, the game is almost finished, and I think this is how this thing works most of the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely a huge part of the game. Definitely, indeed. Also, maybe a personal question. I would be happy to hear each one of you guys' experience after ETC. I had personally a huge trouble when I came home to recover from ETC, from all like the... Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of brain energy, at least, that we put into the event. And I had a lot of struggle, a couple of days to really fully recover from that. How did you recover from the win?
I didn't. I have no choice. I need to take care of my kids. I just didn't play like almost at all for 3 weeks now.
Yeah, makes sense.
Now I do, like I play like 1 game every day now and try to play Empire a bit, but still it's the whole stress was there and I left it there, so it's not.
Yeah.
I-
So come on.
Yeah, so on the whole way back, I was basically making lists. As soon as we came back, I took army from Gobos,
Yeah.
went on another tournament with Dark Elves, enlisted in all online tournaments that there are. I'm going to a tournament this weekend, the next weekend.
Okay,
so,
already. Wow.
Yeah,
No break for
I
you.
have quite an energy streak. So
Nice.
I don't know. I have more desire to play after.
Okay,
He's still
that's
young.
excellent.
Time to do this shit.
And for me, actually, uh, yeah, it was like a very big week for me because I got engaged, then I went to ETC,
Nice.
and we won. Then I came back. So yeah,
That was your wedding
uh,
present. Congrats.
Not very
yeah.
bad.
But
Not engaged.
now when I come back, my fiance is waiting for me with million propositions for the organization of the
Okay.
wedding and stuff. So now we're busy with that, and I have like similar with you that regarding like for example work. For me, it's really hard to focus like first couple of days. It's really hard to get into the groove of working because I work
Yeah.
in consulting, and it's like a very intellectual work, and it's hard to work when you think about the tournament, when you think about and all the pressure is coming down from you. Luckily, during like holidays, we have a little bit less work than during like
Okay.
autumn, winter, and stuff. So. But for me, a break for sure.
Yeah.
For sure, a
It's
break.
needed.
I don't.
And we have a funny question on the chat from Paul. Most important question: how long did you stay at the Coyote Bar in Spain? Was it a big party?
We back home at around 3:30,
Yeah.
and we woke up at 5
Oh, okay.
to
It
go to
was
the
a short
airport.
night.
Yeah.
Cruz and Touch came back earlier, but me, Wapa, Emil, Shino, we were there like until 3:30.
Wow, impressive.
The hardest battles of the ATC were for me Monday morning. This was terrible.
I get that, but it's important to party, and it was a great success for Team Poland. Come back on top this year, so definitely you deserve that.
Thanks. And from my personal like observations, I can say that in like Team Poland, it's very important for us that I see that when we are having fun, when we are laughing a lot, drinking, not being like very. I don't want to say focused on the game, but when we have a good time, the team, the results are always better. And I think this year we had, also with the coaches, with Emil and Shino, we are having like a good time during the whole tournament and after tournament, and it like paid off, I would say.
Yeah, that's great to hear. I can share similar experience for us this year. We're more relaxed, great atmosphere, and I think that's a key, definitely. First of all, you enjoy the event no matter what. And second of all, I think you get less pressure for the result, and that's definitely good to hear that also for you. Compared to last year where you put more work, more pressure, actually you did much better this year with doing less, just by having also better team spirit and all that stuff. So that's great. Maybe to conclude, I've put a last point, and also if people have a last couple of questions on the chat, don't hesitate to ask them, because we are going towards the end of the live. I wanted to know what's next for Team Poland, meaning future events for next year ETC. What are the plans? Do you already know who is going to select the team? And maybe you can also do some advertising for some event in Poland.
We don't know who, but maybe the same person. I mean, he said in February, whenever he was picked, that if he wins, he wants to do it again.
Okay.
So he will try to do it again. I don't know if people will let him. So the team, it depends. Maybe not who will still play the game. It depends who will come back to play the game. This is how I can say, because we have plenty of players who who are playing, but not the knife age.
Okay.
I think
They switched
so.
to the.
So if they're like players like Abrasus comes back, I assume he will be playing on the ATC team.
Yeah.
So I cannot say personal who will play, but
Yeah, sure.
it depends who will come back. And for tournaments this year, actually, it's quite cool because we have 3 big tournaments after the vacations. Vacations in Poland are from June until and the end of the August, and like no season to play except ATC. And after it, people are waiting for the new patch, so they don't play. They don't play much. And this year we have 3 big tournaments on the south, on the north from Warsaw, like 150 kilometers, and one is in Łódź, so it's very close from airport in Central. So we have plenty stuff to do. Because all around those big tournaments there will be plenty of small ones as well.
Nice.
So this year is pretty cool in the matter of how many tournaments we will gonna have before the big patch, which comes on I don't know if December or January.
Yeah.
And regarding Team Poland participating in events, we have like 2 Polish teams on WTC. I think we will have some old dinosaurs coming back, as we hope that Abrasus will play. I mean, he promises that he will come with us. Also, some guys like Marek Szajtis, and like some old players are coming. So
Nice.
we hope that they will get hooked and they will come back, to regularly playing the game. So we are active. We will be present on international tournaments, but as Tutaj said, we are about the selection of the Team Poland for next year. We are also waiting for the final decision on the format of the tournament, because as I know, there is some discussions, how the ATC will look. Will there be like maybe 2 teams from each country, maybe 1? So before that, it's hard to make like any like important binding decisions.
Indeed, yeah. Like you said, we will see. I think it's good that ETC are asking themselves questions about the future, and we will see what will be decided. Indeed. Okay, guys, do you have anything to add to close the live? If not, I've covered all the topic I wanted to discuss with you. It was very enjoyable. Anything to add?
Matthew? No. Me no, because I think we'll meet soon on one of online tournaments. So
yes, would be happy to. Okay, guys, that's all for this live session. Thanks a lot to Team Poland for the participation. Was enjoyable to hear about your preparation and to talk more about your ETC. I think it's great to see you back on top with great atmosphere, great spirit, good preparation, but also not doing too much and getting, like we mentioned, into completely burnout. So I think it's good to see you winning that way. And looking forward to meet you again next year, maybe in Krakow. We have people, I know that there are a lot of people pushing for another ETC in Krakow. It was definitely great last year, so maybe that could be also a way. Do you know something about the potential bid from Krakow?
Marek is doing the work, and he'll try to figure out
awesome.
The best, because we also said to him that people want to have the tournament the same place, like where to sleep. They want that will be the best, like something like in Netherlands, that we have the venue next to the
indeed
and if that thing could be transported to the Krakow, and very best to the downtown of Krakow, to the old town,
that would be amazing.
Very for and I'm not sure this is possible. So Marek is aware, and he's doing the work, trying to find something good for us.
Okay, great. Looking forward to see the bid. Guys, thank you a lot. Thanks a lot to the guys who followed the live, also to the ones who will be following the replay. Don't hesitate if you have questions. I will try to answer them and have a look at the comment section. And yeah, all the best for Team Poland. Congrats again for this amazing success this year and looking forward to next year. Goodbye, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Cheers and have a good night.
Cheers.